North-south leg of Highway 2000 being built at no cost to Jamaica. Talks continue on unemployment insurance scheme and defamation bill coming soon. I'm Samantha Allen with Jamaica House Weekly.
There are no loans being borrowed by the government of Jamaica from the People's Republic of China. This represents an investment on the part of China Harbour in Jamaica.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller made that announcement at last week's commencement ceremony of the north-south leg of Highway 2000. She said the works being carried out by China Harbour Engineering Company ranked among the most important investment projects ever undertaken in Jamaica. China Harbour will construct the 66-kilometer highway over a 3-year period at a cost of $610 million. The full length of the highway will span from Caymanas in St. Catherine to Ocherias in St. Anne. The work will be completed in 3 phases and will involve completing the Mount Russell bypass by March 2014, while the Caymanas to Linstead roadway and the Monique to Ocherias legs should be completed by 2015. By Wednesday afternoon, Prime Minister Simpson Miller serviced her defense portfolio when she signed a $1.68 billion memorandum of understanding to construct accommodation, office and storage facilities at Lathbury Barracks at Up Park Camp. The agreement was signed by the National Housing Trust, the National Land Agency and the Jamaica Defence Force. Mrs. Simpson Miller said the agreement would allow the NHT to purchase government lands from the Commissioner of Lands.
These lands will form part of NHT's property holdings to be used for future housing developments. The JDF will use the proceeds of the sale through Ministry of Finance to fund the redevelopment of the Lathbury Barracks at Up Park Camp.
Already, $32 million has been disbursed to start renovation works. Last Thursday saw Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller at a labour market forum endorsing the establishment of an unemployment insurance scheme. Mrs. Simpson Miller said the reform was in line with government's negotiating requirements with the International Monetary Fund. Though unemployment insurance is an important plank of social policy reform, the Prime Minister said there had to be consensus among stakeholders for it to work.
Such a bold approach requires pooling of resources, sharing of risks, meaningful public-private partnerships to develop as viable unemployment insurance framework for Jamaica.
On Friday, Mrs. Simpson Miller welcomed the opening of the island's first credit reporting agency, Credit Info Jamaica. Mrs. Simpson Miller said the country's financial system would be strengthened as credit reporting benefits individuals and businesses seeking loans.
Consumers will benefit through more disciplined use of credit, increased financial responsibility, and improved access to credit for persons with good credit histories.
40 years of Cuba-Jamaica relations was the focus of a courtesy call paid on Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller by Cuban Ambassador Yuri Gala. Diplomatic relations between the neighbors was marked on December 8, which was also observed as CARICOM Cuba Day. Prime Minister Simpson Miller was updated on a series of activities that have been planned both in Jamaica and Cuba for this week. They include the airing of a Cuban film, an exhibition displaying the 40-year relations between both countries, and a wreath-laying ceremony at the National Heroes Park for Lieutenant Colonel Antonio Maceo. Mrs. Simpson Miller used the courtesy call to present Ambassador Gala with a letter for President Raul Castro and a copy of the Jamaica 50 book. Government is working hard to bring the defamation bill before Parliament by March. Minister with responsibility for information, Senator Sandria Faulkner, says continuous work is being done on the bill for which the country's media practitioners have been clamoring.
Based on the consultations that were held with stakeholders, some of what came out of those consultations, those are being looked at for inclusion in the bill.
The minister was speaking during a church service to mark the start of National Journalism Week. She took the opportunity to commend journalists for their exemplary work and said government fully supported freedom of the press.
Although that we may not agree with you, what you write or what you carry, we may not even like to read it sometimes, but we will fight to defend freedom of the press and freedom of expression in Jamaica.
And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next week for the latest out of the office of the Prime Minister.